Hi everyone! I come to you today from my comfy chair to talk about supermarkets. Yes, supermarkets. I've been living in London for about 2 years now, and I never expected people to get so up in arms about which supermarket you shop at. Like, it's quite a big thing here. You'll have comedians like Stephen Fry and Alan Coren saying something like, "Well, Sainsbury's is a very useful shop. Keeps all the scum out of Waitrose." Like, what? Excuse me? As you can see in this image here, there's a full range of stereotypes about supermarkets. Shops like Aldi and Lidl are seen as bargain basement, therefore dubious quality, and only to be shopped at if it's your last resort or if it's your only option. Asda comes off as cheap and cheerful, grammar isn't a concern. Tesco is seen as the standard. Where do you buy your groceries in the UK? Tesco. Cheap, cheerful, grammar is a concern. Sainsbury's also one of the standards, though a bit more aspirational. M&S appeals to the foodies and those with a bit more cash to splash. Waitrose, unattainably, unbelievably posh and for only certain people. Curiosity led me to ask my Canadian friends and family on Facebook if there was the same sort of thing in Canada. Was I just not aware of the fact that a Loblaw shopper is completely fundamentally different to someone who shops at Farm Boy, or Sobeys, or No Frills? This is the first response I got, followed immediately by a response from one of my British friends who said that Britain, he thought, was still very obsessed with class. And later another one of my British friends responded with relief that this wasn't a thing in other countries. Now, all kidding aside with that first response, I do want to state for the record that the UK is a diverse country, we know this. These responses were part of an interesting discussion that really highlighted to me how class just isn't really as much of a thing in Canada. As we're headed into this territory now, I just want to put it out there that I had a solidly middle-class upbringing in Canada. And although I consider myself an open-minded person and someone who likes to listen and take other people's experiences into account, I acknowledge that there might be certain limitations to my perspective given my upbringing, and there may be some things that I haven't considered. Also, an important side note, middle class has a very different definition over here in the UK than it does in Canada and the US, because there is still the aristocracy here. I've spoken to my flatmate who is English about this, and she says that money has a bit more to do with it these days than it did before. Basically, if you've made millions on your own but don't have a title, you're still middle class. And if you were born into a titled family, you will always be upper class no matter how much money you or your family makes. In Canada, class seems to be more about your economic status or your income bracket than anything else. Growing up, we acknowledged that with money came privilege, and we were made aware that there were some systemic issues at play as well. We knew that having more money meant that there were more opportunities available to you, but beyond that, it didn't say much about you as a person and what kind of person you were. In the discussion, there were some supermarket stereotypes in Canada that did come up, but on further investigation, these were mostly to do with the locations of the stores themselves and not the kind of people who shop there. Really, just everyone shops everywhere in Canada. It just depends on what's close to you. There don't seem to be any solid stereotypes about a certain kind of person shops at one supermarket or another, except for Whole Foods for some reason. No matter where I go, if you say you shop at Whole Foods, people will give you a look. But as I said previously, everyone just kind of shops everywhere, and there's a big reason for this. Food in Canada is kind of expensive. It's a big country. It costs lots to move things around locally because the distances are generally larger. Importing food also costs more because it has larger distances to travel. For example, the big wedge of Président Brie that you can get at Costco on sale for about $7 over here is about $3.60 regular price at Waitrose. In Canada, you buy this for parties and special occasions. Here, it's just cheese. Non-cheddar cheese, but still, just cheese. A more basic example. A loaf of branded wholemeal bread will set you back about 75p or $1.50 here. In Canada, that same type of loaf is $2.49 in last week's Farm Boy flyer. With this being said, your chief motivators for supermarket shopping in Canada are the price of the food and the distance it takes to go get it. You're gonna get the best deal possible on your food without spending too much gas money trying to get there. If there's a discount supermarket near you, that's where you shop. If there are many different supermarkets near you, you find out which ones have the best deals on what and shop accordingly. This is how you get trendy upper middle class families regularly shopping at places like No Frills. It doesn't matter where you shop, it's all about getting the best deal because everything is expensive. In the UK, however, the opposite is true. It does kind of matter where you shop. It's a known thing for people to go out of their way to shop at Waitrose in particular, precisely because of how closely supermarkets are tied to your class and what kind of person you want to present yourself as. As a Canadian, this mindset is new and strange to me, and so I've approached food shopping in the UK much in the same way that I would in Canada. I go to the closest supermarket and find the best quality for the best deal. And so I present my supermarket reviews. Do they live up to the stereotype? Let's see, probably not. For shops like Aldi and Lidl, when you go in, there's not much thought given to presentation. Everything's just kind of there. It's kind of like Costco in that everything's still kind of in a box and it's just on the shelf. But I mean, hey, if savings are passed on, then cool. I shopped at Lidl recently and I haven't been too impressed with their fresh produce. I find it is a bit hit and miss, but it's a great place for buying things like yogurt and dips and packaged things. And also there's some really good deals on good quality British fresh meat. So it's a good place to shop if meat is a large part of your diet. And their wine selection was not half bad either. My flatmates shop at Asda quite often via online delivery. If someone's doing an order, we'll pool together on like general household items. I can't speak to the in-store experience, but the products are good and they're reasonably priced as well. Tesco is generally good quality for a good price, and they have awesome carrier bags. Look at this, it's Star Wars. I kind of love it. They also have a huge range of international ingredients, so Tesco is the go-to place for any recipe that you might have. However, I've not had the best customer service from Tesco in the past, usually annoying things like phoning up the store and saying that they have something in stock, and then I go there and they don't. Nothing major. As for Sainsbury's, I think it's generally better quality than Tesco, at least for the produce, for a similar price. But what Sainsbury's has to offer is an excellent homewares range. When I have the opportunity to go to a big Sainsbury's, you will find me at their wall of kitchen gadgets. And we have a lot of their mugs in our house. A lot of supermarkets offer a meal deal, which is usually a sandwich, a little snack, and a drink. And Sainsbury's by far offers the best value for money on these. There's a good range of options. You have your just simple egg sandwiches all the way up to your pastrami on rye triple decker, and everything always totals £3. I often pop into M&S Food for a sandwich, but I'm usually driven back to Sainsbury's because of the price. I feel like I can get the same stuff at Sainsbury's for cheaper. But what I will say for M&S is they know how to do food ads right. Their food ads are gorgeous and beautiful, and M&S really knows how to make food look delicious. And now the big one. Waitrose. When I first moved here, I lived in a very studenty area in which the local supermarket was a Waitrose. You would think that wouldn't have been a good business move, putting a Waitrose in an area where people are saddled with student loans or otherwise paying hefty amounts of tuition. And initially I didn't want to shop there because I'd heard it was very expensive, but as it was a very walkable distance away, it became my go-to place. And I found out that although it's possible to spend £36 on a jar of aged New Zealand Manuka honey at Waitrose, it is also possible to shop there on a student budget. It takes a bit of work, but it's possible. They have a great membership program where you can choose 10 items that you regularly buy and always get 20% off on those items. And this is in addition to weekly discounts for members only, which is also in addition to their weekly sales. And if you don't happen to take advantage of any of the offers, at least you get a free coffee every time you go in. That has saved me on more than one occasion. The quality is consistently good, there are many free-range and organic options, and Waitrose has some of the best, most inexpensive skincare products ever. However, it does take some planning to shop at Waitrose on a budget, as it is easy to overspend. That being said, your average shop will be about the same, if not a bit more expensive than at other places, but not by much, as long as you stick to the infamous essentials range. So what do you think? Do you agree? Am I completely and totally utterly wrong? Let me know. I would love to hear your thoughts and perspectives. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you really liked it, please subscribe if you haven't already. You can find me on Tumblr, Twitter, and Facebook. The links are all below. I will see you in the next video. Please take care and goodbye!